thought I'd just do a quick review on the Moto cforce 400S with no power steering model. Just couldn't find anything really online going over what I was looking for in a bike. This bike is used on a dairy farm in New Zealand. I've had it for about 4 months, done about 170 hours on it, or about 1500k. And this is just a couple of things I want to just sort of note for who's interested. In my first few months of use, I haven't cleaned it for this because it just kind of gives you an idea of the conditions it's used in. It gets a pretty hard life. It's been, you clean it and then 10 minutes later it's this dirty again. It gets used every day by multiple drivers, so yeah, it gets a hard time. Anyway, what I was looking for in a bike was reliability and price, and this bike here was outstanding when it came to the price. It was about half of Yamaha or Honda, roughly equivalent kind of bike. So yeah, about half the price of those. And reliability, well, that's hard to know when it comes to a Chinese bike, so I just thought I'd let you guys know on my first impressions. So far I love it, have absolutely no problems with it. It's going well. Sorry, actually I lied. One problem with it, the horn stopped going, but yeah, I think that's more of a problem with the horn. Other things, it feels like it's built very well, doesn't feel cheap or anything. It's yeah, so far so good, very impressive. The only complaints I have with it are the fuel gauge. It seems to be very inaccurate. It only seems to read the top half of the tank. Yeah, it's either, not too sure whether the fuel tank's small, the bike is thirsty, or the fuel gauge is just set wrong in the tank. And yeah, all three of those things. And yeah, anyway, goes down to E very quickly, and then it seems to go for ages once it says it's run out on E and needs refilling, which just gets annoying because it goes to E so quickly, and then I can carry on going for so long after the gauge says the fuel tank's empty, and that just gets frustrating, especially when you've got multiple drivers and you're not sure how long it's been on E, and you need to use it quickly. This is used on a working dairy farm, so it's not always just gets jumped on and used. So yeah, that's very frustrating. And the other thing that I have noted that is a complaint is the steering lock on it is pretty poor. I don't know whether that is the power steering models will be better, or this is a common thing across all CF Motos, but the power steering lock's poor. The only time I notice this is when I'm working with stock and you have difficult stock, trying to get them out of a paddock, and zigging and zagging, and you're trying to follow them, and yeah, it just does not have the lock on it to be able to deal with stock that are an issue, which is happens a little bit on a dairy farm, but not too often. But yeah, when that happens, it's very frustrating, and yeah, the lock is very poor. Anyway, that is all I really have to say about it. Love it, loved the price that it was. And the only other thing that I noticed, the only thing that seems to be poor quality is the toe ball. So yeah, I don't know if it's just because it moves, but yeah, anyway, haven't had any problems with it yet, but the bike does do a bit of towing. It does seem to wriggle around a little bit. Anyway, that's my first impression of this bike after, well, not first, I've had it for about 4 months. Alright, cheers.